Welcome to my first ever YouTube tutorial. So this tutorial is all about how to do angel lashes. So first of all, before I start my client, I'm going to set up my trolley. So for this set, I always use 0.05 decal normal fanning trays, and then I'm just grabbing all my accessories. So my tape, my spoolies, my Superbonder and my glue, all my necessities that I'll need during my set. So this is my client's lashes before the extensions. As you can see, she's got lovely green eyes and I can't wait to lash them. So first step is always to apply the eye pads. Now, my personal preference is to apply eye pads and then tape. I find that eye pads on their own, there's more chance of them moving about, but if you secure them with tape, it makes it so much easier and I don't have to worry during the set. So this is the tape that I like to use. Now it's called Band tape. It's basically just a white tape, but I find it creates a really nice white layer over the pads. So it means that you can really see all the natural lashes when you're lashing, especially if they've got lighter lashes or slightly more difficult lashes. For me, I find it makes it a lot easier. So I like to apply my eye pads and my tape one eye at a time. I find this way when one's fully comfortable for my client, then I can move on to the other one. One thing to remember is always try not to get them too close to the waterline so it doesn't cause irritation. Now from this angle it probably looks slightly higher than it actually is, but what I always do once the pads are comfortable for my client, I'll always adjust them and just make them a little bit lower when the eyes are closed. I find this way it just keeps them nice and secure and in the positioning that I want them. So if you don't know what angel lashes are, they're basically sort of a mix between like a classic and a hybrid, I would say. They're a little bit fuller than classics, but I would say they're a little bit less full than hybrid. So they're the perfect in between. And honestly, all my clients ask for these nowadays. I think it's going to become my most popular set. So for my lash mapping, as you're about to see, with angel lashes, I tend to apply a base layer. So 90% of the lashes will be these lengths, and then I'll always add in wisps at the end. The reason that I add longer lengths for the wisps is I find that it breaks the setup a little bit and it gives it a bit more texture rather than looking quite flat. So this is definitely something that I'd recommend. So for my mapping, I did 11s and 12s in the inner corner and then mostly 13s all across. Now the wispy bits that I'm doing are 15s and then a few 16s. Now one tip when it comes to doing wisps is always make sure that they're at least 2 to 3 millimeters longer than your base layer. If they're any shorter, they're just not going to stand out and they're going to end up blending in with the rest of the set. You could use any curl for this set, however we chose to use decal. That's just my client's preference, and I also use decal for the wisps. So as you can see with my tweezer, I'm picking up just how I would with a normal fan. However, I try and pick up a lot higher, so it ends up looking like a spike, as you can see in this video. Now, once I've got my lash, I isolate it and then I would dip it in the glue. That was just for the purpose of this video. I find angel lashes are really easy to apply because their base is nice and thin and there's not too much weight. They just attach to the natural lash really easily. So as you'll see in this next video, I've now completed, I'd say about 80% of the angel lashes, and this is how they're looking. So as you can see, the 15s have really given it a little bit more texture and the set's not looking too flat. It's also really nice and wispy, and yeah, I just love them. So one technique that I find really helps to get that bottom layer is the take back technique. So if you haven't tried it, you definitely should. So with this technique, I always use a sensitive lash tape. I find this is the best tape for this technique. Now, what you want to do is get a piece of tape that's longer than the length of the eye and literally tape it back like I am in this video. I try not to put too much pressure on the tape in the middle so it doesn't squish the lash extensions, but I put my pressure on the sides of the tape like this. Once I've done this, I use a spoolie to brush out any remaining natural lashes. You could also use a tweezer to pull them out if you found that easier. I just find this is the easiest way for me. Now my client has a few gaps on this eye because she has unfortunately pulled them out, but you'll see on the right eye that she's got a lot more of that bottom layer left underneath, which I can now lash. So next I apply my angel lashes to all the remaining natural lashes that are left behind once I've taped them up. This is the easiest way because you don't have to isolate too much as there's only the bottom layer left for you to lash, and here I am just brushing it again with a spoolie to make sure that they've all revealed themselves. Once I've lashed all the remaining lashes, I always check for sticky, so just make sure that no lashes are stuck to the pad and that no lashes are stuck together. Now once I've done this, I always apply a Superbonder. Benefits of Superbonder is that it cures the glue instantly, so it means your clients can get them wet straight away and they won't fall out if they have a shower or they get in a hot steamy room, and it also reduces the fumes, so I find when my clients open their eyes they sting a lot less if I've used a Superbonder. Lastly, I use a lash fan to dry the client's eyes, and again, this also helps reduce fumes and any stinging sensations. Once I've done this, I'll take the eye pads off and then my client is all done. As long as you've checked for stickies, removing the lash pads should be effortless. It should be no stickies or no lashes stuck to the pad. If it tugs at all, it means that it's likely that one lash is stuck to the pad. Just make sure to check it before you pull it off. This is the finished set. If you want to see more like this, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what you want to see next in the comments. Bye!